Jaya Radha Madhava Kunj Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunj Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girvaradhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girvaradhari Yashodanandana Prajajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Prajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunj Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunj Bihari Up, 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 up. Radha Madhava Kunj Bihari. Down. Take it. Radha Madhava Kunj Bihari. Down. Sideways. One, two, three, four. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunj Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunj Bihari. People can sit here. You guys can sit. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunj Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunj Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunj Bihari Jaya Radha Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. O my Lord, the all-pervading personality of Godhead, I offer my respectful obeisances unto you. Narayanam namaskaritya naram chaiva narottamam devim saraswati vyasam tato jayam udiraya. Before setting the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is the mere means of, one should offer respectful obeisances to the personality of Godhead Narayan, unto Narayan Rishi, the supremest human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and unto Srila Vyasadeva, the author. Nashta parayeshu abhadareshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavati uttama shloke bhakti rabhavati naishtaki. And by rendering of service to the pure devotee, all that is troublesome to the heart is almost completely destroyed. Loving service unto the personality of Godhead, who is praised with transcendental songs, establishes an irrevocable fact. Om Ajnana Tamarandasya Yananjana Shalakaya Chakshuram Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. I was born in the darkest of ignorance. My spiritual master opened my eyes with the torch of knowledge. I offer my respectful obeisances unto him. Jai Srila Prabhupada ki. Jai. Shri Radha Kirtan Gopinath ki. Jai. For 1976 ki. Jai. What shloka are we on today? Welcome all the devotees visiting us from Windsor. Let's hear it from devotees from Windsor. Today we're looking at Srimad Bhagavatam, and it's Canto 7, Chapter 9, Text 6. Okay? Now, are we to read a whole bunch of shlokas before we get to that, or?
Yeah, 1 to 7.
Okay, all right. I'm not used to that system, but let's get at it. Okay? I'll start the ball rolling, okay? So it's verse 1, okay? I'm getting dizzy. Okay. The great saint Narada Muni continued, the demigods headed by Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, and other great demigods dared not come forward before the Lord, who at that time was extremely angry.
Text 2. The goddess of fortune, Lakshmi Ji, was requested to go before the Lord by all the demigods present, who because of fear could not do so. But even she had never seen such a wonderful and extraordinary form of the Lord, and thus she could not approach him.
Thereafter, Lord Brahma requested Prahlad Maharaj, who was standing very near him, my dear son, Lord Nishingadev was extremely angry at your demoniac father. Please go forward and appease the Lord.
Narad Muni continued, O king, although the exalted devotee Prahlad Maharaj was only a little boy, he accepted Lord Brahma's words. He gradually proceeded toward Lord Nrsimhadev and fell down to offer his respectful obeisances with folded hands.
When Lord Nrsimhadev saw the small boy Prahlad Maharaj prostrated at the soles of his lotus feet, he became most ecstatic in affection towards his devotee. Raising Prahlada, the Lord placed his lotus hand upon the boy's head, because his hand is always ready to create fearlessness in all of his devotees.
By the touch of Lord Nrsimhadev hand on Prahlada Maharaj's head, Prahlada was completely free from all material contaminations and desires, as if he had been thoroughly cleansed. Therefore, he at once became transcendentally situated, and all the symptoms of ecstasy became manifest in his body. His heart filled with love and his eyes with tears, and thus he was able to completely capture the lotus feet of the Lord within the core of his heart.
Okay. Is this the verse we're supposed to look at?
Yes.
Okay.
I read 7 as well?
I think we're going to do it together. No, I'm so sorry. Okay. So it's text number 7. Astau Siddharim Ekagra.
We need to read 6 Maharaj.
Oh, we didn't do it yet?
The verse that we are reciting it today is 6.
Oh, it's 6.
Yes.
Okay. Satatkara Sparshaduta Kila Shubha Sapadya Bhivyakta Paratma Darshana Tatpadapadang Hridinyavrita Dadhava Rishyatanu Klina Hrid Ashru Lochana
Sattatkara sparshadhuta kila shubha.
Shubha
Sapadi abhivyakta paratma darshana.
Darshana Pada Padma Ridhi Vrita Dadhao Vishatanu Klina Hridashrilochana
Sattatkara sparsa jahat kilas ulaha.
Shubha
Sapadi abhivyakta paramatma darshana.
Sapadya Vyakta Paratma Darshana
Tadpada padamam vidhi nirvrito dadau.
Pada Padau Hridinyavrita Dadhao
Hrishyat tanu klina hrid ashrulachana.
Tanu Ashrilochana
Satatkara sparshadhuta khila subha.
Spatuka Kila Shubha Nutpadya Vidyakta Paratma Darshana Tatpada Padma Hridinyavrita Dadhao Rishyatanu Kilna Rid Ashrilochana
Satatkara sparshadhuta khila subha.
Tatsatkara Sparsha Durakila Shubha
Sapadi abhivyakta paratma darshana.
Tatvyakta Paratma Darshana
Tadpada padam hari nirvritto dado.
Tatpada Padmam Hridinyavrita Dadhao
Vishyatanu klina hidrashu lochana.
Vishatanu Klina Hridashrilochana. Okay. Saha He Prahlad Maharaj Tatkara Sparsha, because of being touched on the head with the lotus hand of Narasimhadev. Duta, being cleansed. Akila, all. Ashubhaha, auspiciousness or material desires. Sapadi, immediately. Vyakta, manifested. Para Atma Darshana, realization of the Supreme Soul. Spiritual. Tatpada Padma, Lord Narasimhadev's lotus feet. Reti, within the core of the heart. Nivritaha, full of transcendental bliss. Radau, captured. Vishatanahu, being transcendental ecstatic bliss, manifested in the body. Klina Rit, whose heart was softened due to transcendental ecstasy. Asur Lochana, with eyes and eyes. Translation: by the touch of Lord Narasimhadev's hand, Prahlad Maharaj's head, Prahlad was completely freed of all material contamination, desires, as if he had been thoroughly cleansed. Therefore, he at once became transcendently situated, and all the symptoms of ecstasy became manifest in his body. his heart filled with love, his eyes with tears. And thus he was able to completely capture those feet of the Lord in the core of his heart. And purport was Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada died, which we will all work on together. As stated in Bhagavad Gita 14:26, Mang cheo vyabhicharena bhakti yogena sevate saganan samatityaitan brahma bhuyaya kalpate. One who engages in full devotional service, who does not fall down in any circumstance, at once transcends the modes of material
nature,
and thus comes to the level of Brahman. What was that? No, Brahman. Elsewhere in Bhagavad Gita 9:32, the Lord says, Mang hi parte vyapasritya, yebi syu papayoniyaha, sriyo vaishastata shudras, te bhiyanti parangatim. O son of Pritha, those who take shelter in me, though they be of a lower birth, women, Vaishyas, merchants, as well as Shudras, workers, can approach the supreme the supreme, small s, supreme destination. On the strength of these verses from Bhagavad Gita, it is evident that although Maharaj was born in a demoniac family, and although virtually demoniac blood flowed within his, he was cleansed of all material bodily contamination because of his exalted position as a devotee. In other words, such impediments on the spiritual path could not stop him from progressing, for he was not but give me a D, 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 I, R, yeah, directly. He was directly in touch with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Those who are physically and
mentally contaminated
by atheism can not be situated on the transcendental platform.
but
As soon as one is freed from material contaminate, he is immediately fit to be situated in devotional service. Yay! Thank you. Again, we welcome our devotees from Windsor. Please leave me your name, number, and we'll get back to you, okay? All right, before you go. All right, so now we're talking about Narasimhadev, and pretty much many of us enjoy the presence of Narasimhadev. He's a favorite. Jagannath is a favorite, Krishna is a favorite. People love Ganesh, and in ISKCON, we love Narasimhadev, yes. And he's putting his hand on Prahlad Maharaj's head. And I think yesterday it was Vishaka was talking, there's a little poofy stuff here, you know? Just even on your own palm. Look at your palms. Look at them, okay? There's a little poofy here. 1, 2, 3, 4 poofiness. Okay, and on the other hand too. Now, with the lion's paws, it's a little different. And by the way, if a lion was to come to you with his paws, you would pause. Okay. On Prahlad's head, this touch is critical because it meant Prahlad Maharaj's complete, oh yes, all right, yeah, See? Yeah. I once went to the, what's the name of it? Tirupati, and they have a zoo nearby. And I was working on a play about the 3 lives of Bharat. So Jada Bharat, the third life person, he took up several jobs. One of them was looking after a field and keeping people out that would destroy, like, those boars, the wild boars. And so in our play, I got some boar masks made, we had at least one, full body. And, we had a fun time, with Jada Bharat trying to control get them out because of the field, because for a farmer, these hogs, they just stir up everything and they change the landscape, right? So I went there to the zoo, just checked to see what they were like. And I also went to the lions section, okay? I was like, you go in and there's lions on all sides, and they're behind bars, and on 2 sides. And there was, I'll never forget it. The temple president took me there because he's good friends with the zookeepers there. And one of the zookeepers said, watch, okay? So there's this alpha male, okay? And he's on one side, and on the other side, there's a male and a female. And so he says, watch, okay? So I watched, okay? And so he opened the thing that was separating them, and then the alpha male on the other side, he got really jealous. He went nuts, So anyways, at one point, the lion was like this, and I put my finger on his nail, and I had to be very careful, because he could just and hold on to. Okay, so they wouldn't allow that in the West, but it's India. Anything goes, right? Anything goes. Yeah, so that's my little thing with the lion, and he's interesting paws. Prahlad Maharaj became very purified by that touch, the kind of touch that can cause palpitations. It can cause, like, some of the symptoms that in bhava people feel emotionally, such as shivering, maybe discoloration of the body, and tears rolling down. Right in the beginning of the Gita, we hear about Arjuna's symptoms that he was going through. And, I think we've all been there before. Have any of you had hair standing on end? Has that ever happened before? Because of the cold? Or because of the cold, or also, like, I remember walking in the prairies, like somewhere in Saskatchewan, early in the morning. And as the sun is coming up, the coyotes, they all do it together. They all have their Mangalarti. And it sounds more in unison than some of us, not pointing fingers here. But, so you hear them on this side, a colony on this side. On the other side of the road, then there's a response. I was getting stereo, and indeed, my hairs were standing on end. Usually, humans don't have to worry about coyotes. They don't go after. Kids might have a problem, but generally they don't go after humans. There was one case where one woman was killed by 2 coyotes in Cape Breton on that famous trail, the Cabot Trail. It's kind of unprecedented. We don't know exactly, I don't know exactly what it was, but it's such an unusual case. People just keep remembering that one. Maybe she had food, maybe there's something else, the smells that animals get excited about, Could be any of those things. All right, so lions are very powerful, and this particular lion was not an ordinary one. He had from here to here the lion's face, head, And then from down here, it was, the arms were a little different. There were these, things that you can hold wasps with, these kind of things, okay? But the rest of the body was the human body. So therefore we say it's very unique. And Prahlad Maharaj responded. Narasimhadev was, he had killed Hiranyakashipu, and we heard a little bit about the details, the spaghetti that followed thereafter that came out, right? And we also heard a little bit about how there's a residual anger in him. Hunger and anger, perhaps, together at the same time. But anger for sure. Now, when someone gets angry, it's really hard to tame them, to subdue them, isn't it? Have you ever dealt with an angry person? Maybe yourself, you were angry. How do you get yourself toned down? Maybe you need someone else to help you to bring down the temperature. So that's necessary. Anger is not really the kind of emotion that you want to be in, but sometimes it is necessary. When there's abuse, then we need to be angry. It just comes instinctively. It's natural. But and most people, when they exert anger, it's not justified enough, So therefore, you have to have some peacekeepers around. So tone it down. I don't know if I ever told you this, but up where the washroom is, next to Govinda's. Okay, right. Yeah. So yeah, this is the episode. We had an office there where the washroom is, and I was sitting there. I was the prez at the time, and one of our devotees was very irritated. She got very angry. She walked up to where I was with the desk to separate us, and she just got very angry, and she kind of just I didn't duck. But I was basically trying to be very transparent about it. And she was just complaining about one devotee who mistreated her. And so she just started yelling. And I just kind of stood there. And her voice hit the wall. And then it came back to her. And she goes, "Oh, was that me?" And I didn't say, "Yes, it was you." I sounded pretty ugly, didn't I? Yes. Okay. So the things, if you catch yourself in anger, maybe you can tone yourself down. But let's say you're in the moment, full of rudra, anger, a krodh, and it's got the better of you, and you need someone around you to tone you down. There's beautiful stories in the Vedas about angry people. Some of them are Brahmins even, they get angry. And there's a need to subdue. So sometimes it takes, when you get by with a little help from your friends, it's really good to have friends around. And what they'll do is they'll kind of come to you and, what would you do if he got angry? What would you do to tone him down?
Calm down.
What would you do? You'd say calm down? You say he got angry, okay? What would you do to tone him down?
I will ask him.
Okay, Prabhu, Shanti, all that kind of stuff. And you touched him too. Was anybody there last Saturday when one devotee, one godbrother, he got kind of emotional? Not angry, but crying. And the devotee next to him just put his hand in there. It's okay, it's okay, it's okay. All right, so that's what's necessary. So the touch is important. And when we hear about full surrender, Atmani Vedanam, we're supposed to use all our senses in Krishna's service. The eyes are for? The nose are for? Smelling the devotee to know what kind of soap he used. No, I'm saying. Okay, ears for hearing, okay. And also the legs for?
Dancing.
Yes, dancing or walking to the temple. And the hands for? Clapping. What else? touching the devotees. You know? That's right. That's one explanation, touching the devotees, because they're very transcendental. So now, going back to this Leela, when I go to South Africa, there's this one sort of like a basement area where they put me in the room. It was Indrajimna Swami usually stays there, but he wasn't there. And they have this very elaborate, more elaborate than this painting of Narasimha going quite wild. And Prahlad, who was actually quite mild, was encouraged to go. Does anybody remember the song? Born to be wild. Do you know that one? Okay, so in our tradition, born to be mild. So he was born to be mild, even though he was in the body of a demonic lineage. And everyone was encouraging, Lakshmi said, go. Brahma was doing the same, Narada Muni, everybody. They couldn't control him. He was just in the moment, full of this emotion. And it's really hard for people to switch emotions sometimes. Like when you were a kid, the emotions sometimes change very abruptly. Sometimes they don't. For instance, a child will be crying, "Ah!" And then mommy comes in or daddy comes, "Ah, dada." They just switch off and then come on to something else, It's almost as if they're putting on a show. And they are. So Narasimhadev is putting on a show, and his sound vibration is concerning people, And Prabhupada also talks about, there's a particular tiger, he's probably talking about the Bengal tiger. When he comes in, he starts roaming through the jungle. The animals that are around, they know, they can smell, they can hear, they can see. And there's this one bird that Prabhupada says, it goes, "Fio, Fio, Fio." And what that means, he's coming. The tiger is coming, So whether it's a tiger or a lion, doesn't matter. Everyone fears the wild cat, right? This is a more gentle portrayal, slightly. No, really, it's no. If you want to really be gutsy about it, I think they could have done a better job, the artist. No offense. But, Narasimhadev, he can get very ferocious. He can. And there was one time when I was going regularly to Peterborough to do cooking classes at a restaurant. There's this one fellow's name's Don, and he had a restaurant in the downtown. And so I was doing the cooking lessons, and then we had a program, a little kirtan session after, but we went to someone's home. And some of the people followed us. Many of them are vegetarian, vegan. So then one particular devotee, I can't remember who it was exactly, he said, "This is a very special day. This is the appearance of Narasimha. And if you really want to know the story, it's about this lion who comes and he digs into the guy's guts and he pulls out the entrails." And I was just saying, not to these people. It's not a good introduction to Krishna consciousness. And he kept going. He just kept going. And then they put like a garland around him, made of this intestines. And some people were rolling their eyes. What's he talking about here? Anyways, Hare Krishna. Prahlad is getting purified. And you see, this is the whole business of Krishna consciousness. It's to get cleaned. It could be a touch from the Lord or a touch from a devotee that can make a big difference, that can change your whole life around and purify you. Well, whatever the case, that's our objective. One time I was also in, it was near, what's that place, Mickey Mouse, Donald Duck, Orlando. And we had a house program at someone's home, and there was a couple, they taught yoga, and they came and I gave a little bit of a talk, we had kirtan, and they asked me, "So Swami, what in your opinion is the purpose behind all of this yoga, whether it's bhakti or this or that?" And I told him, well, my understanding is that it's supposed to get us clean. You know, we're coming into this world with a lot of corruption and contamination. Tribir gunamayayir bhavayir ebi sarvam idam jagat. That means that the three energies are taking hold of us, you know. There's other shlokas in the Bhagavad Gita that also verify that we are bewildered by the modes of material nature, and we have to get beyond them. Like say, Mangchyo Vibhucharina, you can remember that one if you have a chance today, 1426. Mangchyo Vyabhicharina, Bhakti Yogena Sevate, Saguna Samitatyata, Brahma Bhuyaya Kalpate. So I was telling the couple the whole idea is to get free of clutter, free of anarthas, unnecessaries, that the coast will be clear. Like if there's a fire in the building, the management has to make sure that the coast is clear. You can't have any, let's say, interruptions, hurdles, or what's the barriers in the way of the doorways. You have to make sure there's nothing blocking the doorways in case there's a fire and you have to get out. You just see the sun. I was once in a fire situation and the whole place got enveloped by smoke. The only thing I could see was that exit sign. So can you put an exit sign up here? It's not responding. Okay, all right. Well, that's somebody's responding up there. Somebody angry. There's anger right here. All right. Yeah, so you have to the coast has to be clear. This is the point, you know, in terms of practical freedom, escape from the flames and the smoke. Some people die from smoke before the flames get them. They cough and they suffocate and they lie there, and then Agni is just ready to have a barbecue on you after that. So really, it's the whole idea is to get clear, and then if that clarity comes through, then you've called what's discussed as the Brahmabhut platform. Brahmabhut means transcendence. That means to be beyond the modes of material nature. It doesn't necessarily mean bhakti. It just means that you're now free from physical desires. So it's an admirable place to be, but it's maybe not the, full-on, full-blown Krishna consciousness that we aspire to be at. We want love to be established. So in the Brahma Bhuta stage, doesn't necessarily mean that you're full of love of Krishna, but it does mean that you have no love for matter. Okay. So, right? So that's it. And it starts there, the Brahma Bhuta platform, and then from there you can go on. We have, the Kumaras, they were in the Brahman platform of transcendence. And Shukadeva Goswami, there's a few devotees like that, but then they came in contact with the devotees, or they came in contact with the smell of the tulsi leaves at the feet of Lord Vishnu, and that changed their whole direction. They were able to take a step forward, to advance, and that's very important. When I first met devotees, I had a picture of their Bhakti God. Prabhupada was there. And it was a picture of an old man. I'm 20 years old. He's 70 plus. And, when you're 20 years old, you don't really appreciate older folks necessarily. So I don't like the way they look. I don't like the way they move. They're a little bit on the slow side. And so I was lacking some respect. And I asked the devotees, so what is this thing, why is he so important? To me, he didn't look homely. He didn't look like beautiful, But then that changes, it grows on you. So I asked them about this. And the devotees, there were 5 of them, and said, well, the whole idea is that we adore Prabhupada for what he stands for. We adore him because we can't wait. One devotee said, I can't wait till I get old like him. I said, you want to get old? And he said, yes, we want to get old like him. So when we get to that point, we will be very pure. I said, I get it now. And they also use the term, we will be advanced. said, advanced? Like, advanced to me meant when you get an advance for money to be able to do your little project, you know. I never heard it in those terms. To become an advanced person means to be evolved. It means to become very pure. That's what it is. So Prahlad was the purest of them all, and they were encouraging him. Little boy, imagine, he's going towards the very loud, tumultuous sound of a lion, and he was quite effective. And he came to him, and he did tone down. He really did. Narsingha, that is. Set him on his lap. And if you remember, this like an iconic image of Prahlad is sitting on the lap of his dad, right? What did you learn in school today? I didn't learn anything. But I did learn from some other source. What did you learn? I said, what is it? Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Smaranam, Pada, Sevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasya, Atmani Vedam. So the third word, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu. Oh, Vishnu. You know, so Prahlad didn't score so well on the lap of his father, but he did very well on the lap of Narsingha Dev. You know, he did very well. He was very comfortable there. He was patted on the head. And, you know, the beautiful thing about Prahlad was, even though his father was not very nice to him, he still loved him. He understood him. He understood that he was controlled by passions. And so he had feelings for him. And when it came time for blessings or benedictions from Narsingha, what would you like? You know, can you imagine? What would you like in Costco? So Narsingha could offer anything. And Prahlad's message was, please help my father and people like him to get liberated. That was the implication. Yeah. So in other words, he had a good heart. He didn't take things personally. He just felt that this person went through some bad stuff, and that's why he behaves the way he does. So if devotees can see like that with a soft heart, oh, this person's angry, or this person's on drugs, totally out of control, we can understand. They probably had a rough upbringing, right? So try to understand. Understand. And I'll finish with this. I was in Winnipeg, and we had a group of people, of religious leaders, and it was the Catholic priest who said, we have to simply understand. What does it mean to understand? It means to stand under. So if you stand under, you see everyone else is so big, and I'm very small. So humility, this is the start of a purification, right? A change, an adjustment. So we have to adjust. We have to move. I join a movement, and it's my move. It's like playing chess. The other guy, Krishna makes a move. What was it, Leo? You gave the example. Krishna steps. You step forward, Krishna takes 10 steps. Okay. So Krishna's made the steps. Now you have to take a step. It's your move. Okay, so it's your move. Haribol. So we got 10 minutes left, and let's get on with the show, as they say. Any questions or comments or deliberations? Si, senor.
So Prahlad Maharaj, he was so surrendered that Krishna appeared as Lord Nrsimhadev. Even though he was at that level, still he had material desires, because the verse said, like, after touching,
Oh yeah.
then all the contamination was gone.
Well, let's say he was pure, because he heard from Narada Muni and he soaked it in. But, you know, he just reached another stage of purification. It got even better. It's like when you're in a shower and you feel good, right? Everybody feel good in the shower, right? especially when it's cold. You feel good. And so you've gone through it and you feel good, and maybe you just want a little extra minute there, right? You feel even better. So Prahlad was born in pretty much a pure state because of his connection with his guru, Narada Muni. Merely from Shravanam, he got pure. That touch was just a little added touch. It was the cherry on top of the cake. Hare Krishna.
Maharaj, Brahma Bhuta that you were talking about, so to be on this path of purifying yourself, like before joining Bhakti Yoga, do we have to be on the stage of Brahma Bhuta to get rid of Mamats?
For a lot of people, it will be incremental spiritual growth. But when you get immersed in bhakti, automatically Brahma Bhuta is included in there. So you don't have to worry about it. Like Brahma Bhuta could imply Brahman realization. But devotees don't need to go there. They can step over it. It's okay to step over. Get some blessings from Vamana Deva, who's a good stepper. Yes, Prabhu.
Yes, Maharaj, you said that we have to understand people and see them beyond their faults. It might be because of their previous traumas or, previously what happened in their life. So, but sometimes we are not at that level, and sometimes people, when they react in a certain way, we tend to see them, we tend to judge or, see them through their actions only.
Yes.
So how do we, go beyond their faults, their shortcomings, and see them beyond that, okay, they are also devotee, but they need some help. How do we see that?
Yes, I mean, such individuals, it's not like you all have to go and embrace some crazy lunatic on the street. But you can have a heart for them. You see, the whole thing about Prahlad, he was compassion. He kind of championed that. He had a feeling for his father, even though he was a nasty person. You know how these days everybody wants vengeance? I'm going to take you to court. And people do that with their parents sometimes. I'm going to change my name. I'm not going to belong to you anymore. Even though you gave me birth, I'm just going to disown you. There people have got that kind of vindictiveness. And Prahlad was quite opposite in that direction. Despite the fact that there was torture going on, he still had a soft spot for his dad. He could understand where he was coming from. But he could also understand where he can go. Right? And it takes the mercy of the devotees, the compassion, to make a difference in people's lives. So when you see some kind of in a strange individual, whether it's on the street, and sometimes they come in the temple, have some compassion. No, they shouldn't be here in this building, but they can be outside. But understand they had a rough deal. And what should come out of this? So that when you see very much full-blown before you, so this sort of contamination, you can be grateful. That's another virtue, grateful. Wow, I could have been there. I could have been that person. I could have been lost like that guy over there, but I'm not. Or if I was, maybe sometimes it's some people are reminding you of where you were before or where you were just close to being. So now you're in a position where you say, I could have been down in that deep dark well, I could have been in a sewer hole, but I was saved by the mercy of the devotees. So gratitude should kick in. And for devotees, it's compassion, it's gratitude, it's desire to be clean, all those kind of things comes out of this particular story. What do you think? You're okay.
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much. Anybody else then? Yes.
So Maharaj, when Rajendra came as to liberate Prahlad Maharaj, he also came to liberate Hiranyakashipu also, because Ajay and Vijay asked, requested Krishna that He's liberated us when we take our birth as a demon. So were they liberated on the same level, Prahlad Maharaj and Hiranyakashipu?
On the same level. Well, Hiranyakashipu had to come again into this world, so I don't know if it's on the same level. They were definitely sharing a kind of karma, being in a family, a clan of toxicity, right? And so to say that they are on the same level, not necessarily so. I mean, Prahlad Maharaj is on the list of the 12 Mahajans, right? And Hiranyakashipu didn't make it on the list. He just didn't make it on the list. Maybe, in the Chaitanya Leela, he became Jagai or Madai, and that then we can say, that there's something there. We can say they're both Krishna conscious, right? But Hiranyakashipu still had to go through more purging, more purification, and live out a little bit more negative karma. Yes, ma'am.
Maharaj, when Jaya and Vijaya were cursed, why did they prefer to be like demons? They could have chosen to be devotees.
Well, the general explanation I hear is that they want to expedite, they wanted to accelerate. They want to be with the Lord as fast as possible.
As fast, like there is so much of destruction, so much of anxiety.
That's right. That's right.
I mean, it did not benefit in a way, but if they prefer to be devotees, they could they would change a lot of other people's consciousness too.
But let's go a little deeper. They are already devotees. They're Jai and Vijay, right? And so they are rendering a service to the Lord and to Vishnu and to Krishna. But they did, it is Krishna who is very deeply entrenched in the Leela itself, in the rasa. It's a staged performance. They said, those two devotees, I think they could do a good job at Hiranya and Hiranyaksha. Krishna is the cast director, and he's choosing people to play different roles. Just like, say, for instance, let's do the Ramayana, and then we'll look around, and say I'm the director. I'll look around and say, we'd make a good Ravana, okay? Let me see. Big bodied, maybe. All right. Yeah, perhaps. And who could play Prahlad? I'm going to look at somebody might be short. Okay, perhaps, yes. And I'm going to look for some female parts as well. I mean, who could be Narada Muni? I have to look at that as well. Who would fit that description? Yeah, okay, yeah. So it's casting. And the Lord loves theater. He loves drama. And even if you're not in Krishna's drama directly, we're living out a drama. Like you think you're Tom or Vrindavan, but you're not. Raj, you think you're a king, but you're not. It's like we're in a body, and don't we always say that? You're in a body, but you're not that body. But we're still playing out a role. And Devangshi, like anybody, you've got a certain idea profile about yourself, and you're probably quite entrenched in it, like anybody else, right? I'm Devangshi, and that's me, and I look like this, and I walk like that, and I eat like this. It's all like, it's a show, it's what you are karmically, but remember, it is a show. It's not what you are permanently. The roles that actors play is not permanent. It changes. And I was talking to one devotee who's really into old movies the other 2 days ago, and I said, we were talking about the versatile actors as opposed to the character actors, like Robert De Niro. He just plays one role, so that's boring. Can't you do something else? Hey, Robert, can't you play something else? But it's the people that are flexible that can play different. They're the real actors. So I think Krishna likes for you to be ready to play whatever role he has in mind for you. All right. Anything else, Prabhus? Okay. Yes.
And it's like, I think to be as a demon or playing certain roles, like you said, Robert De Niro just playing the same role all the time.
Yeah.
So it's a great lesson also to have to live and be such
Be one.
like it's a great lesson to rather than just playing the same role all the time.
Yes. I would find it a little bit boring. By the way, usually when we have a group of people and where there's little kids or even grown-ups, how many people like to play the role of demons? And everyone's got their hands up. Anybody interested in being a saint? No hands go up. Isn't it funny? We want to be nasty. Yeah. Okay, so we're running a little bit over time here. Thank you so much for listening. And we can put an end to this class today. Hare Krishna. Panchakalpatarubhyascha, kripasandubhyeva cha,